Hello there. Tonight I want to ask you the question, do you have the guts to be healthy? So tonight we're going to dive into why your gut is the root of your health concerns. So I'm Dr. Glenna, naturopathic doctor, mother of 3 small kiddos, and I'm passionate about helping you get healthy so you look and feel your best. So I'm passionate about that because I know when I help people get healthy and you get the tools to get healthy, we all become more compassionate and understanding individuals, and that helps you thrive, it helps your kids, your families thrive, your communities thrive, and that makes the world a better place. So I am passionate about helping people move beyond their health concerns, get through the obstacles of whatever obstacles are holding them back when it comes to mental or physical health, and I love giving you the tools to make that happen. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about the connection with your gut, with your physical and mental health, because I think this relates to everybody that has health concerns, any health concerns, or if you're looking to improve your energy, if you've got a diagnosis or not, or if you're looking to optimize your weight, get leaner, whatever it is, because we're talking about inflammation, we're talking about hormones, we're talking about mood. So this relates to you. So I think it's empowering if each person understands the connection with their gut to their overall health, because there is a connection. So let's talk about it. So we're going to talk about the line of your digestive tract. And trust me, we will get to kind of the connection with your health. Just so stay with me. So the digestive tract has a barrier, if you will, and I kind of pop this out. See if you can see this. So we're talking about this tube. Okay, so almost picture like if you have a tank and you put a tube in there, what's in that tube is actually separate from the rest of the tank. So that lining of that tube is the barrier between the outside world, because that tube is connected to the outside world. And just like in our body, it's connected 2 ways, through down here and up here. But we want to keep separate what's in this tube from the rest of our body. And our digestive system is pretty smart if it's working well to be able to do this. So we have a layer, and that layer is in charge of getting nutrients that it should and passing it through the tube lining, not letting protein fragments from your food get through, not letting toxins, not letting harmful organisms get through, so that they don't go past the intestinal lining, get into the bloodstream, and cause some wreak havoc basically in your system. So that intestinal lining is filled with cells that produce enzymes to break your food down, stomach acid to keep the pH, so that the digestive tract is not a nice place for harmful organisms to hang out. Those cells are in charge of detoxification, and beyond the first layer in the intestinal tract, there's nerve cells and immune cells, which we'll talk about in a minute, the importance of that. So that intestinal lining communicates with your immune system and your nervous system, including your brain. So if there's an imbalance in that lining, you're going to get, eventually you're going to get inflammation. It can be in the kind of in your joints, digestive tract, but it can also be neural inflammation, which would affect your nervous system and your brain. So that's why your gut health is connected with your mood, your hormones, obesity, which some people say it's a disease now, but I think it's a side effect of a greater problem, of a root problem going on in the body, whether it's hormone balances, and often it's a dysbiosis of bugs. So the health of your GI is connected to all of those things. Diabetes, which is connected with inflammation. So good bugs help prevent hyperpermeability of the gut, meaning if the good bugs are there, which are the lining to our first layer of the intestinal tract, then they will not let that gut be hypermobile, letting toxins out into the bloodstream, things like that. If there's harmful bugs there, those microorganisms release toxins. If the gut is not strong and healthy, those toxins can get through the gut lining into deeper layers past that superficial lining. And that's the submucosa, that is blood vessels are in there. That's how, if your gut is not healthy, how things can get from your digestive tract into the bloodstream. Let me show you a good picture here. Okay, here. So this, they took a little snippet of your digestive tract here and blew it up. So this right here is the finger-like projection of villi, and you can see this, all of this surface area this is a mucousy layer, and there's lots of bacteria in there. Right below there, there's blood vessels. So you can see that if this is damaged, what is getting through can get into the blood vessels here. Now, in that layer where there's blood vessels, there is, we call it gut-associated lymphatic tissue, or GALT. And that's the connection with our immune system, because 70% of our immune system is actually in the intestines. Sounds like a lot, but if you unraveled our intestines, there's so much surface area there that you would cover 2 tennis courts. That's how much is sitting in here. So when you look at it that way, it's not that surprising that 70% of our immune system can be in those intestinal layers. So that's the reason why what you eat will affect your gut lining. So the two things that can really wreak havoc with your physical and mental health are leaky gut, which is basically what I just described, when your gut becomes hypermobile. Because when that gut lining, there are cells and tight junctions, and they're almost like gates. And if they start letting things through that shouldn't be, we call it leaky gut. It's kind of a simple term. So you can get leaky gut or you can get a dysbiosis. Those two things can play complete havoc with your physical and mental health. Because like we said, if the gut lining is damaged due to inflammation starts building up in the system because that gut that's been damaged is letting things through the gut, then your immune system will kind of go crazy because it's not supposed to be that way. Maybe there's protein fragments in the bloodstream from your food that shouldn't be there. So the immune system starts overreacting. It starts producing inflammation. It might be putting out a lot of histamine, things like that. And inflammation, we know now, can get through the brain, through the blood-brain barrier. Those symptoms can make you down. You can feel very depressed if there's any inflammation in the brain. So let's see what else I wanted to jot down to talk to you guys about. How do we get leaky gut? So one way is taking too many antibiotics. So if you do not need to take antibiotics, do not take antibiotics. Reserve them for a time when your system is not fighting whatever infection you have. But do not jump to them because they do wreak havoc with that first layer in the gut. Because that first layer is lined, the carpet of that first layer is probiotics, is the good bugs. And once we start messing that up, because there's 100 trillion diverse organisms in our intestines. There's 2 pounds of bugs in our intestines, pretty much the same weight as our brain. So when we wreak havoc with that, we're really damaging the gut lining, and our intestines can then become more hyperpermeable. And it won't be as selective as just taking out, extracting nutrients and sending them to the bloodstream. And then the bloodstream takes them throughout the body to the cells. More can start getting through there. So it's super important to really look at your gut health. Let me think. And other ways that can cause leaky gut. Besides medications like antibiotics, NSAIDs like ibuprofen. I think that's very well known now that ibuprofen, too much of it. And for long periods of time, if you don't need to take it, don't. Sometimes we need to take certain medications to get through, but that over time can wreck the lining of your digestive system. So 2 things there that I think it's great for everybody to know. So if your digestive system is off, it's important. Start addressing it. Start getting it back on track. If it's early stages, just looking at your diet and water and your stress levels. If it's been going on for years and years and years, go to see somebody and get your digestive system fixed because it really is the root of your health. I want to talk about certain things like stress. We know now that stress hormones really change the balance of good and bad bugs in our body. So that's why I think stress is linked with IBS, and often we know that there is a link. We've known that for a while now. The reason now we know why they're linked is because cortisol, the stress hormone from the adrenals, can alter the microbiome. So the microbiome are those cells, those 2 pounds of cells or bacteria that we're carrying around. That's our microbiome. We all have a microbiome. And the goal is to have a healthy microbiome. So I hope that makes some sense to you guys. I hope it helps to connect your overall health with your gut health. It's super important. the microbiome, so that 2 pounds of bacteria that we're all carrying around, many jobs, synthesizes vitamins, is the gut, the lining to your gut, detoxifies, eliminates, and that gut lining extracts, decides, can I get the nutrients in that food? And lets it go through the intestinal layers. And in the middle of those layers are blood vessels that will pick up those nutrients and take them throughout their whole body. So think about that. Think about when somebody's not eating a healthy diet, not just a day, not a week. This is month after month after month of not eating a healthy diet. How that can really wreak havoc with your digestive tract, which can wreak havoc with your mood, with your immune system, and your nervous system. So this is the time of year we start thinking, oh, my immune system. Maybe you're someone that ends up going on 2 or 3 antibiotics every winter. Well, think now. Think about the choices you can make now. Sure, probiotics, vitamin D, 2 basic things that we can all do this time of year as it gets colder. But if you want to look long-term at your health, start getting rid of the sugar now, which feed pathogenic bugs. Start looking at the nutrients you can get in your body. Don't look at it just like weight loss, weight loss. We got to get that out of our head, because that's a pretty negative way to look at our health. Weight loss will come as a side effect of taking care of yourself. And when you balance the bugs and you balance your hormones and you get your inflammation under control, when you balance your bugs, cravings will go down, and you will find it easier. When you feed your body the right nutrients, you will decrease cravings, you will feel better, you will have more energy and motivation, and then you'll be able to not look at a healthy food as work. So my program, that's what we do. It's all real food. If you bought the cookbook that I put on a month ago, it's all real food, whole food recipes, and that's why people are seeing improvements with their mood. That's why they're losing weight. That's why their joint pain is getting better. Diabetes improving, hyperglycemia is improving, because we're getting kind of to the root of the problem. So their whole system. So it's not just one symptom we're after in this program. We're after overall health. And that is, I think, why the people in the program are finding it easy to stay on this eating plan and this eating guideline.